The Outlanders Journey. Tier 1, Level 0. Chapter 12. Bach. You have a new best friend named Maya Lee. As soon as Mr. Sanos leaves, she teleports to your room. Each day you look forward to seeing her, and, over time, you've learned more about her. Like you, she's from the forest. Your family stayed in the north while hers lived further northeast. She recently turned 12 years old. You no longer know how old you are, but you met Mr. Sanos when you were 10. 2 months before she arrived at his house, she and her family left their home, but she got separated from her parents, and while lost, something struck her in the head, causing her to lose consciousness. The next thing she knew, she had awoken here. "He kidnapped me," mouths Maya Lee. "But Mr. Sanos is very nice," you say. "He teaches me everything." "If he was nice, then he wouldn't make you sleep in a cage," says Maya Lee. "This isn't a cage, this is my room. One day, I will be good enough to go outside, but right now I am bad and weak." "You don't look weak to me. You're the biggest furbolg I've ever seen." No, you say. "Mr. Sanos says I'm weak because I'm big. I have bad control." "Bad control of what?" "Magic." "You know magic?" mouths Maya Lee. "A little bit, but I am very bad. Mr. Sanos is teaching me." "When you say you have bad control, do you mean the magic does things you don't want it to do?" You nod. "Mr. Sanos says I'm dangerous to other people, and only he can fix me. But someday when I am good enough, Mama will come back and take me home." "Is that what Mr. Sanos promised you?" You nod. "But what if you could leave and find Mama yourself?" asks Maya Lee. "No," you say, shaking your head. "No, I'll hurt her." "You haven't hurt me. Why would you hurt your own family?" "I almost killed my baby brother," you say. You've always been a jealous, possessive person, and you hated your brother for taking all of Mama and Papa's attention. Your tantrum had gotten so bad that a deadly hot bolt of light shot out of your chest, almost scorching him. The tree that you struck instead was pierced clean through with blackened burn marks. Things were never the same since that moment. Papa and Mama began to act much more cautiously around you. It was a good thing that Mr. Sanos came and offered to fix you before you did anything worse. Maya Lee scoots up next to you and touches your hand. "I turned myself into a sheep one time. I was just playing around with magic, and the next thing I knew I was on all fours. I was bleeding for my mom," she laughs. "When she found me, I was eating out of her garden. It took an hour for me to turn back to normal. She got so mad at me." You try to picture her as a tiny sheep, and you laugh as well. Her magic sounds much more charming than yours. "I can't control my magic either," says Maya Lee. "Most of the time, it's not too bad, but sometimes I can also hurt other people. Maybe your magic and my magic have the same problems." "Does it happen when you get very mad?" you ask. "Mad?" You nod. "No, not mad. Sometimes when I use magic, I cause unexpected things to happen." "Oh," you say. "Mr. Sanos says I can only make the magic when I get mad. I used to get mad a lot, and I didn't know how to stop it, so I hurt a lot of people. He trains me to get mad and control it." "Train you?" You nod. "When my mad gets too hard for me to control, Mr. Sanos sings Mama's song. He tries to make me sing it to myself so I can control my mad, but it doesn't work when I do it." "When my family and I left, we were going to find someone to train me. I bet she's even better than Mr. Sanos." "Really?" She nods. "As far as you know, no one else is equipped to handle your abilities." "Who?" "The Archdruid of the forest. Her name is Ihi." The name is familiar. You recall a large, elderly elven woman whose clothing was woven out of leaves and foliage, her hair gray and voluminous. "Oh, I know Ihi," you say. "What?" She narrows her eyes with suspicion. "We're talking about the Ihi." She emphasizes with her hands. "You've met the Archdruid?" "I think so." You don't remember anything about a title like Archdruid. You were with her for some time, though you remember being bedridden for much of it. You had a fever for what felt like years. Hazy images of her and Mama standing together, watching over you. Cool hands that smelled of the earth caressing your face and rubbing your belly, muttering in a language you didn't understand. "It was a long, long time ago," you say. Maya Lee shakes you by the shoulders. "Where? Where did you find her?" "I don't know," you say. "I was very little." "But do you remember what it looked like?" The sound of waves lapping onto the shore and the smell of salt. "I think I was near the ocean." Maya Lee puts her hands on her head. "The coast? Dad said she was supposed to be more inland." She looks up at you. "We can leave. Ihi will teach us how to control our magic. You can lead us there and we'll train with her. And then we can find our families again." "But neither of you knows where you are. And what if you get angry and accidentally kill her?" "Ihi didn't train me back then," you say. "But maybe she will this time. She's the strongest person in the entire forest." "Okay. I can talk to Mr. Senos and he'll help us find Ihi." "No." Maya Lee waves her hands. "No. We have to keep it a secret." "But why?" "I don't think Mr. Senos would be happy if we left." You will also greatly miss him if you do leave. Though you look forward to the day Mama comes, you hope that Mr. Senos will come with you, and you'll all live happily in the forest. "If we tell him Ihi is a good teacher, he will want to help us. He might even take us there." Maya Lee shakes her head. "If he really wanted to help you, he would have let you leave a long time ago." "But I'm bad. He's just keeping me safe." "How do you know you're bad?" "Because I hurt people." "You haven't hurt me." You shake your head. You're just arguing in circles. "I think," says Maya Lee, "I think Mr. Senos is an enchanter. He knows the kind of magic that lets you control other people's minds. Where I'm from, it's forbidden magic. But Mr. Senos uses it, I think. He's good at making people do what he wants them to do, and think what he wants them to think." "But Mr. Senos wouldn't do that." "Maybe that's what he wants you to believe. Do you ever think something feels strange or something doesn't add up?" Why is she telling you these things? You put your hands over your head. You've known Mr. Senos longer than she has. He is good and kind, and you have to stay here because you are bad and weak, and Mama will come when you're good and strong. You know this. It's always been this way." "No, no, no, no." Maya Lee puts her hands on your arms. You jerk away. "Buck, we're friends. I just want to help." This is the first time someone has called you a friend. You nod. "I know." "When Mr. Senos goes to your room, what does he do?" "He trains me and cleans me and gives me food and gives me my blessing." "What's the blessing?" she asks. You shrug. "It makes me better." What if the next time he gives you a blessing, you try to resist it?"
"Why would I do that?"
"Just one time," she says. "Please?" She gazes at you with pleading eyes. "It wouldn't hurt anyone, right? As long as you don't tell him, he won't know." Maybe one time isn't so bad, and if it makes her happier, you could try it. But if Mr. Senos finds out, he could be disappointed. You just need to hide it better. You nod.
"Okay. How do I do that?"
You just close your eyes and force your brain to fight back, like you're putting a wall around your head.
What does that mean?
It's like upstairs, the heavy door opens again, and Mr. Sanos' boots storm down the stairs. By the pace of his footfalls, he seems agitated today. Maya Lee looks into your eyes and mouths, "Just try it." Then she rushes to the corner, summoning the fog and teleporting away. You can hear Mr. Sanos pacing back and forth outside your door. You hear something shatter against the floor, fists slamming onto a table, something wooden being kicked. Your door bursts open. Before you can react, he hurls a hardcover book at you, and it smashes against the wall. Papers explode out and scatter across the floor. You shrink down, pulling your knees in. You're paralyzed. His face is shrouded in darkness behind the extinguished candlelight. He stares down at you, dropping a bag of food and punting it at you. A loaf of bread tumbles out, immediately blackened by the dirt. He takes a step forward. The soles grind against the floor.
"I'm sorry."
You cover your ears, squeezing your eyes shut as you bury your face into your knees. It's quiet again. You sense the tremor of his steps, softer now, coming toward you. He stops right before your feet, and you brace for impact, but nothing else happens, and you open your eyes to find him kneeling before you, smiling.
"Oh, Buck."
His voice is calm, his eyes sorrowful, though the crease in his forehead is still visible.
"Don't be so scared. I shouldn't be taking my frustrations out like that."
He picks up the spilt food and mutters an incantation. The loaf of bread in his hands glows, and the dirt sloughs off.
"There. I cleaned it up for you."
He takes your trembling hand, prying open your fingers, and places the bread in your palm.
"Sometimes, the only place where I truly feel safe is with you. For better or for worse, you bring out my true side. You are my most special boy. I am nothing without you."
"Oh," you say, sensing the sadness and remorse in his gaze. He must be so lonely without you. When he leaves, does he think about you as much as you think about him? You pat his shoulder.
"It's okay. Do you feel better now?" "Yes. Thank you, my boy. But let's pretend that didn't happen, all right? Let's give you your blessing."
He leans closer and cups your hand into his.
"Remember not to resist."
"Okay." And as you close your eyes, you wonder if this is what Maya Lee was talking about earlier. Resisting a blessing? You're not sure why you should do such a thing. Mr. Sanos' fingers rub your forehead and down your cheeks and neck and shoulder. The soothing touch of his gentle hands, which have held you during the worst of your tantrums. You love him as much as you love Mama and Papa. He is, at this point, a second Papa to you. "Just try it," you hear Maya Lee say in your head. "Just once." The idea of disappointing her fills you with dread, though you could just lie to her. Something tells you she would see through your deception, or maybe Mr. Sanos would find out that you were thinking of resisting. You don't know what to do.
"I was very excited when I came home,"
says Mr. Sanos.
"I was so excited to come back and tell you that your mother is actually on her way. She'll be able to pick you up as soon as you're ready. I was telling you that all it takes is for you to be strong enough to control your wild magic. It will all depend on you."
Even without actually attempting to resist, you are now distracted, no longer relaxed. Where you would be lulled to sleep under Mr. Sanos' gentle touch and easing voice, you are now overthinking his every word. And the more you pay attention to his speech, the more you notice how painful it is. Each syllable pierces your mind like sharp daggers, trying to wriggle its way into your sense of reality, your memories. You keep your eyes closed, exerting every bit of your mental energy to resist the prodding. You grip the back of your thighs, clenching your jaw, barely able to breathe. Through the agony, You think about Mama and running through the grasslands, the feel of the crisp air, the warm sun, the taste of a magic berry. These precious recollections cannot be taken from you. When he finally stands, you collapse to the floor in exhaustion, yet he seems unaware that you resisted him. You remember everything. He collects his things, walking away. The door shuts. It's silent for just a moment before Maya Lee's door opens and she begins to shout at him. As you drift off to sleep, you are left with the lingering sensation that you've experienced your memories being manipulated before, many times, over and over.